The Avengers. Doomsday trailer just did something no Marvel trailer has ever done. Record-breaking views, the internet on fire, and a single ominous figure at the center of it all. But here's what most people watching don't realize. This isn't just another Avengers movie. It's the doorway to the end of the Marvel Universe as we know it. The event they're building toward is called Secret Wars. And in the comics, Secret Wars didn't just tell a big story. It destroyed everything. Every universe, every timeline, every hero you love wiped out and rebuilt from scratch. So if the MCU is heading there, the question becomes terrifyingly simple. What survives? To understand where the MCU is going, we have to go back to 1984. That's when Marvel published the very first Secret Wars comic. The concept was deceptively simple. A cosmic being called the Beyonder plucks Earth's greatest heroes and villains, drops them onto a patchwork planet, and forces them to fight. The prize? Ultimate power. Win the war, and reality itself bends to your desire. It was marketing genius, essentially a toy commercial, but it became something bigger. A blueprint for the ultimate crossover where anyone could meet anyone, and the rules of the universe were completely up for grabs. But the version the MCU is really chasing came in 2015. This Secret Wars was darker, grander, and far more consequential. It wasn't a game. It was the literal end of the multiverse. And at its heart was a single chilling idea called incursions. An incursion happens when two universes collide. Their Earths crash into each other, and both are annihilated, unless one world is destroyed first. Across the multiverse, these collisions accelerated, faster and faster, wiping out reality after reality. The heroes couldn't stop it. Time was running out for existence itself. When the final collision came, everything ended. The mainstream Marvel universe and its darker counterpart smashed together and were gone. All that remained was a scattered handful of survivors, clinging to life on fragments of dead worlds. And from that wreckage, one man built something new. That man was Dr. Doom. Victor Von Doom, the greatest villain in Marvel history, stole the power of godhood from the beings who caused the collapse. And with that stolen omnipotence, he stitched the broken pieces of dead universes into a single, impossible planet. He called it Battleworld, a Frankenstein planet divided into dozens of separate kingdoms, each one a piece of a different reality. Ancient Egypt in one region, a zombie-infested wasteland in another, a domain ruled by Ultron, every alternate world you could imagine, all sewn together under a single ruler. And on Battleworld, Doom wasn't a villain. He was God, literally worshipped as the creator and master of all existence. The survivors didn't even remember the old universe. Their memories were rewritten. To them, Doom had always been the divine emperor of reality. And that is where the MCU appears to be heading. Now let's connect this to the movies. For years, the MCU has been building what's called the multiverse saga. It started with Loki fracturing the timeline. Then Doctor Strange cracked reality open. Spider-Man brought villains across dimensions. Every film has been quietly widening the cracks. The original plan revolved around a villain named Kang the Conqueror, a warlord who mastered time. But behind the scenes, that plan collapsed. Marvel needed a new threat big enough to end the saga, and they reached for the most iconic villain they had. They cast Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. That casting sent shockwaves through the fanbase. The actor who defined the MCU as Iron Man, returning not as a hero, but as its ultimate destroyer. It was a statement. Marvel wasn't just continuing the story, they were preparing to burn it all down and rebuild. So how does this play out across two films? First comes Avengers, Doomsday. This is the setup. The incursions begin. Universes start colliding. Heroes from across the multiverse, including faces we thought we'd never see again, are pulled together to face an unstoppable threat. That's the real spectacle of Doomsday. The multiverse means anyone can appear. Variants of dead heroes, actors from older Marvel films, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four. Characters from franchises that used to be completely separate, all crashing into one story as their realities die around them. Then comes Avengers, Secret Wars. If Doomsday is the collapse, Secret Wars is the aftermath. This is where Battleworld likely forms, where Doom ascends to godhood, and where the last surviving heroes must confront a being who now controls the very fabric of what's real. And here's the part that changes everything. Secret Wars is famous in the comics for being a reset button. When Doom's Battleworld finally falls apart, the multiverse is reborn. A new universe is created, similar to the old one but different in crucial ways. Nothing is quite the same again. That gives Marvel an incredible tool. They can recast heroes without explanation. They can retire characters gracefully. They can pull the X-Men and Fantastic Four permanently into the main universe. They can even undo mistakes and rewrite continuity that got too tangled. A clean slate justified by the story itself. Think about what that means. The current versions of the Avengers, the ones we've followed for over a decade, may not survive intact. Some heroes could die permanently. Others could be reborn as new versions, played by new actors with new histories. The MCU, could effectively end. And yet, this is exactly what the comics did to stay alive. Secret Wars in 2015 let Marvel merge its convoluted universes into something cleaner and fresh. It brought characters home. It streamlined decades of contradictions. It was destruction, yes, but destruction with a purpose. Renewal. So what role does Doom actually play? In the comics, he's the god of Battleworld, but he's also deeply flawed. His paradise is built on control and fear. And ultimately, his downfall comes when a hero shows him that he could never do what his greatest rival could. He could never truly create. That's the tragedy of Doom. All that power, and still consumed by envy. In the comics, it's Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, who finally inherits the ability to rebuild reality. Which is fascinating because the Fantastic Four are about to enter the MCU right before all of this begins. That timing is no accident. Marvel introduced the Fantastic Four now, right before Doomsday, because they may be central to how the story resolves. The rivalry between Doom and Reed Richards is one of the greatest in comic history. And it could be the emotional core of the entire finale. Now, will the movies follow the comics exactly? Almost certainly not. Marvel loves to remix its source material. The Beyonder might be reimagined. Battleworld might look different. Doom's motivations may change entirely. But the core structure, collapse, patchwork world, godlike villain, and rebirth, that framework fits everything Marvel has teased. There are also huge unanswered questions. Which heroes carry over into the new universe? Do the original Avengers get a true farewell? Will the multiverse survive it all? Or shrink back down to a single reality to simplify future films? Every one of these choices reshapes the next decade of Marvel. And consider the real-world reason all this matters. The MCU has grown enormous and complicated. Dozens of shows, films, and timelines. Secret Wars is the perfect narrative excuse to simplify, to say goodbye to some threads, and to hand the universe to a fresh generation of heroes and stories. That's why the Doomsday trailer hits so hard. People sense the stakes. This isn't a standalone adventure, it's a curtain call and a rebirth rolled into one. The end of the story that began way back with a man building a suit of armor in a cave. When Battleworld crumbles and the new universe is born, everything is on the table. A recast Spider-Man team-up, mutants fully integrated, fresh versions of classic villains, even resurrected heroes returning with new faces. Secret Wars gives Marvel permission to do the unthinkable and make it feel earned. So here's the bottom line. Secret Wars isn't just the next big Marvel movie. It's the reset switch for an entire cinematic universe. Doctor Doom, Battleworld, the collapse of the multiverse, all of it is building toward the boldest reinvention Marvel has ever attempted on screen. Whether it becomes a masterpiece or a mess, one thing is certain. The Marvel you walk out of Secret Wars with will not be the Marvel you walked in with. The question isn't whether things change. It's how much you're ready to let go. What do you think survives? Tell me below, and I'll see you in the next one.